To say Herman and Amanda Masterson had a rough go at life so far would be an outrageous understatement. Herman's left leg was slightly shorter than the right, causing him to wear a platform shoe. If that wasn't embarrassing enough for a kid, you could add a speech impediment to the list due to a partially corrected cleft palate. The two siblings were abandoned at the ages of 5 and 6, Herman being the youngest. Good old Mom and Dad were both professional junkies and hard up for money, so they traded their 2 bundles of joy for a bundle of crack rock and a couple of demeaning sexual favors to a predictably abusive foster mom. Until the ages of 16 and 17, Amanda and Herman made the depressing rounds to different foster homes. Each one came with some sort of traumatizing domestic problem. Herman suffered all kinds of abuse, mental and physical. Amanda did not have it much better. Probably worse, even though it's not a competition. Every single foster dad in her life molested her, and one of them even got her pregnant as a bonus. After only a couple of seconds of Amanda hearing her baby girl's premature heartbeat, it was snatched from her young mother's arms and adopted post-haste. The torment seemingly ended when Amanda discovered that they had an uncle by marriage who lived about a few hours away in Dutra County. She was beaten for an hour straight with a metal colander after using the computer in their latest foster dad's office to find that out. Will Jameson was a meager and unassuming school security guard at Dutra High School, just promoted to head of security at the school, according to the local news report. The 2 wayward orphans were ecstatic to find out that their horrible lives of torment, sexual abuse, and constant ridicule were about to end for good. After skipping school to meet them secretly at the mall for a nervous lunch of food court Chinese, Will lawyered up and the rest was, as they say, history. It was just in time for summer break when they moved in with their savior uncle. One thing Will failed to do was mention the sordid history of the Dutra family who owned Dutra County lock, stock, and barrel, including their next stop, Ezekiel Dutra High School. It was a lot to absorb, so he figured he'd wait until they had settled in and were ready for their first semester to give them a heads up. Though their uncle hadn't been the head of security for too long at Dutra High, he'd loudly vowed to clean the place of lower learning and return it to the respectable beacon of education that it once was long ago. Little did he know, before the big promotion, it was going to take a lot more than monitoring the halls for truant teenagers or busting adolescents smoking in the bathrooms to make a difference. The big day had arrived, the first day of school for Herman and Amanda. 10th grade for Herman and 11th for Amanda. Both were optimistic, but still a bit gun-shy. Herman sat in his room, psyching himself up with a worn rubber werewolf mask on. He had been fascinated with the fantastical creatures ever since he was a pup. A werewolf had no fear. Its strength was unmatched, and with the moon on their side, one could rip the asshole out of a grizzly bear without blinking an eye. His room was wallpapered with every movie poster that had a werewolf within. Silver Bullet, American Werewolf in London, The Howling, Late Phases, you name it. But it was Dog Soldiers that was his all-time favorite. Bad Moon was a close second. He always got a kick out of scaring Amanda with his mask. It gave him a sense of power knowing he was feared by at least one human being in this world, even if for just a little bit. As bad as life had dragged Amanda through the ringer, she was still full of life and optimism, and a healthy sense of humor. After fighting off lecherous pedophile foster dads, Amanda wasn't scared of anyone anymore. She felt free and unafraid in her uncle's house. In her mind, her bravery was just courage under fire in the worst circumstances, spitting in the face of the devil. The physical and mental abuse endured by Herman didn't make him any stronger, however. In fact, right the opposite happened. The meek, mild, and scared-of-a-fly teen developed a proverbial tortoise shell. Any sign of danger and Herman would retreat. Amanda, on the other hand, would grit her teeth, dig the heels in, and fight like a honey badger. It made the beatings worse, but she regretted nothing.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.